Bram Stoker's Dracula was actually inspired by a woman. My purpose today is to inform you about one of history's deadliest female serial killers, Countess Elizabeth Bathory, also known as the Blood Countess. I've always had an interest in abnormal psychology. I've read countless accounts of known psychopaths and their common characteristics, but because female serial killers are relatively rare, I was intrigued when I first heard about Elizabeth Bathory. The fact is that women who kill have an advantage over their male counterparts. We don't see them coming. But as you will see by the end of my speech, it is a grave misconception to believe that women can be any less dangerous than men. I will begin by discussing Elizabeth Bathory's early life, then I'll go over her alleged crimes, and conclude with information about her trial and death. With our roadmap in place, let's take a close look at her early life. To understand how she earned her reputation as the Blood Countess, we must first examine her childhood. To begin, she was born into a Hungarian family of great wealth and prestige, with strong ties to Transylvanian royalty. At the age of 15, she married the son of a baron, Ferenc Nadasdy, and her wealth, power, and estate grew exponentially. In addition, records suggest that her childhood was not ideal. There were allegations of sexual abuse by a close female relative, and it is rumored that an uncle exposed her to satanic rituals at a very young age. Now that you know a little about Elizabeth's childhood, let's take a look at how she earned her reputation. Elizabeth Bathory's reputation was earned in a decades-long rampage that involved the torture and murder of up to 650 young women. To begin, her rampage started in 1585 against her servants and local peasant girls. Witness accounts detail horrific violence, to include ripping chunks of flesh from her victims and forcing them to eat it. It is also rumored that she enjoyed bathing in the blood of her victims, although this cannot be proven. Eventually, she grew bolder and she began to prey upon young ladies of noble birth who had been sent to her with the promise of education. Now that we know how Elizabeth earned her reputation, let's examine the investigation that led to her imprisonment and eventual death. Elizabeth Bathory's reputation was cemented when the king ordered an investigation into her crimes in 1610. To begin, investigators discovered a torture chamber with several girls, either already dead or still dying, locked up inside. As public knowledge of the torture chamber spread, more than 300 witnesses came forward to testify against her. However, there was no official trial, and Elizabeth was not allowed to speak on her own behalf. Afterwards, to avoid tarnishing the entire Bathory name, the king ordered Elizabeth to spend the rest of her life securely bricked up in a small room of the castle. She died 4 years later, on August 22nd, 1614. In conclusion, Elizabeth Bathory's crimes led to her well-deserved title as the Blood Countess. Let's review what we've learned today. First, we learned that she was a powerful noblewoman with ties to Transylvanian royalty, and that she had a tough childhood. Second, we learned how she earned her reputation as the Blood Countess, first by torturing and killing her servants and local peasant girls, and then by victimizing young ladies of noble birth. Finally, we learned that her reputation was sealed when the king ordered an investigation into her crimes in 1610, which revealed a torture chamber wherein several dying girls were still found. And as a result, Elizabeth Bathory spent the rest of her life imprisoned in solitary confinement. It is troubling to think that a woman, generally considered the more nurturing gender, could impart such a legacy of cruelty and hatred. Elizabeth Bathory is but one example, albeit a notorious one, of just how brutal a woman can be, but there are many others like her. It is no wonder, then, how Elizabeth Bathory could have served as inspiration for Bram Stoker's infamous Dracula.